larger part of the cause for a goof-up would be something which happened internally, not externally. Secondly, if we want to make improvements in this country, we must remember the social and political environment in which we are functioning. Business does not function in a vacuum. Please remember that. You cannot hope that the decisions will be taken in what you think is absolutely logical, analytical methods of taking a decision, and you come up with a very academically very sound system and solution. But that does not necessarily mean that decision will be implemented or will work in this country. You have to keep aware of the political and social environment in which we function, and any decisions, any changes, any improvements which you want to make must be such as people will accept around you and which can be implemented therefore because of acceptance. And acceptance means recognizing what the people around you think and how they behave and how they understand what you're trying to do. Communication becomes a key to getting decisions accepted. Unless you communicate adequately, understand what you're telling people, they understand what you're telling people, and both sides discuss and understand each other's doubts and their clarifications, you will not get to a situation where you'll find that you're very effective in decision making. Many excellent things fall down because of lack of communication. So I would like to stress upon you the importance of recognizing communication amongst human beings in an open society as being of extremely great value in determining how you will succeed in your jobs. Those who communicate well will succeed better. The second thing is team building and people involvement. We have had an old tradition in Indian industry, and it's something which goes back 50, 60 years, of unions and labor being adversarial to management. Most management have looked upon workers as something which they have to have, but wish they didn't have to have. And they treat workers and things as a kind of necessary evil which they have to find means of managing somehow. Now, in any manufacturing organization, the workforce would be close to 80% of the total employees. And just consider what kind of synergies and what kind of growth you could get if that 80% pulled in the same direction as the remaining 20% of the management. And what happens if that 80% is often fragmented between different unions, and they pull in different directions from the management, and you have an adversarial relation. One of the reasons why productivity in most Indian industries has not gone up very much, and we are far below the productivity of other countries, is the fact that there is no involvement of the workers in the company. The workers do not think that their future is dependent on the future of the company. They do not believe that each is actually interdependent on the other. But sorry, if you really think again, you'll recognize that in a company, the greatest and most vulnerable stakeholder is the worker. If something happens to the company in today's environment, the managers and the engineers and everybody else will find jobs elsewhere and will not really suffer any great economic hardship. Where does the worker go? Where are job opportunities for a worker who's in his mid-30s or 40s? And I think what managers have to understand is that if you really talk to and communicate with workers, if you explain to them what is actually happening in the marketplace and in industry and what their role should be, and if the company adopts practices which are transparent and fair, and where the workers can see that the management is actually concerned about their long-term welfare, is concerned about what happens to them, treats them as equal human beings, then I think you will get a very, very positive response from the workers and the whole picture changes. I'm telling you this because this is what the Japanese did when in the 50s they found that their country was shattered by the war. They also had militant trade unions. There were strikes, there were cases of arson, there were cases of vandalism in the factories because the unions and the managements were at loggerheads with each other. They realized that it required a lot of education, a lot of training, a lot of communication with workers to